Hey, I was muted. Sorry about that. I look like a total wreck, so most of the time I'm just going to be on my icon. But today, I thought it might be helpful in the Summer Wells case to create a timeline because there's so much confusion surrounding the case. And oh, am I still muted? Oh, okay, good. Thanks. It's very likely I could have still been muted. So, um, but I thought it might be helpful to create a timeline. I'm a little ADD, so creating a timeline is a little difficult for me. So bear with me. And I'll show you what I've got here. I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to share it with you. So. Okay, so I hope you can see this okay. I'm going to log on my phone and see what I've got here. If it's showing. Oh, it looks like the intro wants to still show. Hang on just a sec. Let me get that out of there. I don't know why that's so difficult when I share my screen. Share screen. We'll share audio. Hey, everybody. I haven't said hi. Jilly Bean. That's new to me. Oh, good. I love seeing new people. Hi, Jilly Bean. AJ. Angie. Yay, thanks so much for coming, guys. Okay, so if I can get my stuff together, I think that I'll be able to go over a timeline with you. So I think you can see it now. So this is as of 6/15, which is the day that she went missing. And I took this information from multiple sources, and I'll try to kind of put things in here and there. With this first one, I have a little bit of a video. Candus and Summer dropped Grandis, which is Candus's mother and Summer's grandmother, off at the ER. She had a problem with her knee. The three boys, their sons, Josie, who's 13, Wyatt, who's 11, and Wayland, who is 9, stayed home. And I have a little video of this that I think I'll be able to play. Hopefully I have it at the right place here. This is Chris McDonough, the interview room. He did an interview with he did a couple interviews with Candus.
I can tell you. I know I went to the hospital at 8 with my mom.
So she went to the hospital at 8 with her mom.
Dropped her off, and I was sitting there, and Hunter called me and asked me what I was doing. I said I was sitting at the hospital in the parking lot waiting on my mom to get done.
So she went to the emergency room at Holton Valley Hospital, she and Summer did, and took her mother, who I'll refer to as Grandis, there. And they were sitting in the parking lot waiting on her. And according to her, she got a call from a kid that's a kid of her friends, Allie, and she ended up going and picking him up. So that gives us some more information in the timeline. And I will go back and answer questions in the chat from time to time. I'll do it in sections. So we have here 8 a.m. Okay. And then apparently she arrived to Allie's house to pick up Hunter between 10 and 10:30. Now, Hunter started out, he said 11 immediately, but then hesitated and then said 10 because he had been up all night. Let's see if I think I might have video of that. Let's see what this is.
And what time was that at? What time did she come and pick up Hunter? It was between 10 and 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So when she dropped him off between 2 and 2:30, did you?
So here we have 2 times. We have the 10 and 10:30, and then the 2 and 2:30 drop-off time that I've got right here. Dropped Hunter off at home. And then it gets kind of gray. So the story goes, for the most part, between Candus and Hunter, that Candus picked up Hunter. They went and picked up Grandis at the hospital. On the way to Walgreens to drop off her prescription, they stopped at a smoke shop to get cigarettes and then went to Hippie House, I think it's called, and got some puff bars. Went to Walgreens to drop off Grandis's prescription, and they said it was going to be about a 35-minute wait. So they decided to go to the water hole. And we know the time they were at the water hole because there's a timestamp on the TikTok, 12:21. So I could see 10:30, and they said that they're about 5 minutes from the hospital. So in Tennessee time, that probably means like 10 minutes at the least. But 10:40, and then her getting in and all that, maybe getting here at 11:10, 11:30, and then 11:45, and then 12 o'clock or so, because the watering hole and Walgreens are pretty close. So that adds up. After the watering hole, they went back. Here, I think I have this. This is at the watering hole. I don't know if y'all know what mini-thin is. It's the name of this group, but a mini-thin is a pill. It's an amphetamine. But here she is. It's not very deep at all. She was laying down in it, and she has a little tank top on and a skirt, or shorts, which is totally normal. I think that is Hunter, who she picked up, the 15-year-old boy. And he's getting in calmly and just kind of splashing her, and they're having fun. In his story of events, he got scared because he thought he saw Summer go underwater. So he went in, he picked her up, and she was just laughing. So that was his his story, as far as what he remembered happening at the water hole, which doesn't really line up with the video. But he's 15, so, kids. So anyway, they went back to pick up Grandis's medication. Then they decided to stop at Sonic, where they got some slushies. And I think Candus and Summer got grape slushies. I didn't notice any purple. You know how when you drink a slushie, how it changes, like your lips get purple or whatever color the slushie is? I didn't notice that. And in that picture where she was asleep in the back seat, but maybe it had been long enough to where it was gone. Also, there's no mention of getting any food. They were out from like 8 o'clock in the morning. Maybe they got food after they dropped off Grandis and they were eating it in the parking lot. But still, and then went to Sonic sometime after 12:30, maybe like 1 o'clock, and she just had the slushie. But anyway, then they went to the grocery store Priceless, and Summer and Hunter sat in the car and waited on them. Hunter said it was about an hour or so, or less than an hour, he said. And Candus kind of seemed like, oh, she just got milk and cheese and a couple things. But then when she talks about getting back to the house, she talks about separating her groceries from her mom's groceries. So if it were just a couple things, I think you could just do that right in the car as you're getting them out. Anyway, I digress. 2 o'clock, 2:30, everybody agrees, dropped Hunter off at home. It's about a 45-minute drive to get from Hunter's house, Allie's house, to Candus's house. And we know that at 3:09, there was an accidental video taken of Summer sleeping in the back seat where she had her arm up or something funny. And in one of the interviews, Candus said that her arms came down, and they had been up the whole time, and they came down like 2 minutes before they got home. So that video had to be about 2 minutes, or so. And so maybe if they got home at 5 after 5 or so. But she said she unbuckled Summer, got Summer out of the car. Summer had to be woken up. Now here, the stuff in the purple font is a whole time period that we don't have times for, or even approximate times. Leslie Earnhardt from the TBI is kind of wishy-washy when she talks about when the last time Summer was actually seen. The last verifiable sighting of Summer is from that video at 3:09, and then it was 6:30 before Candus and Dawn called 911. So that's about a 3-hour and 20-minute gap of time that really remains unclear as to what happened, and it's just very vague in the details, where in the other in the beginning of the day we were able to at least get some times and that made sense. So before we start this, let me head over to chat and see what's going on, make sure I'm not missing out on anything. Hey, Graz, Annie, Angie, love you guys. You guys are awesome. AJ. Okay, so let's see. Do we know who the boys were home with? Angie Marie asks. That's one thing that has confused me because the dad was at work and the mom and grandma were out and about. So who was home with the boys? So the oldest son, Josie, is 13 years old. The second oldest is 11, and then the youngest is 9. I know when my kids were 9 and 12, what did I just drop? When my kids were 9 and 12, I left them home for a little bit during the day. Um, but there's been these rumors swirling around. Hunter, in his interview, said that the boys were with Don at work, and apparently Don was working in Jonesboro, I think it's called, and that's a 40-minute drive from the house. But then apparently the boys were home when Candus got home with the groceries because she said they helped unload the groceries. Oh, thanks, guys. Thank you. I took a little break. Sometimes I just have to take a break and rebalance. Hi, Cassie. First time here. I think on Duty Ron the other night there was talk about a confirmed 1:30 sighting of Summer at Walmart, not at Walgreens that day. I don't remember all the details, just remember hearing it. Interesting. Nobody even mentioned Walmart. Huh. I'll have to go check that out. Duty Ron, huh? Okay. I used to be good about, oh, Walgreens. Walgreens. Okay. All right. So you said 1:30 and that was on Duty Ron. Let me write that down. Hang on a second. Sorry, guys. Because if I don't write it down, I will totally forget it. And I've got a timeline going here. So, Duty Ron, possible sighting at Walgreens at 1:30. Okay. Thanks so much. That's awesome. Oh, I had a late night too, Cassie. I totally get it. My nights are so screwed up. So, oh, Angie, I miss our game nights too. I think that'll be fun. I felt so bad. The last mystery one, I was so overwhelmed for some reason at that time. And I just wasn't able to put my heart into it. And it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. Anyway, so let's get back to this timeline. And this is where things start to, like I said, get really, oh, my computer, what is my computer doing? Things start getting really vague. So let's pull this up here. I think I better go full screen first. Okay. So, sometime in the early afternoon was the last time Summer was seen. And I wonder because they called 911 at 6:30 p.m. So, why early afternoon per TBI? That's an interesting statement that she made. I do have that presser on my playlist. I have a Summer Wells playlist. They're not my videos. I think one or two of them are, but they're videos that had really great information and press conferences, etc. I think I even got the one where the horse was just running wild down the street, which added a little bit of levity. I had to rewind it like several times. I even called my kids in to watch it, and they didn't think it was as funny as I did, but whatever. Okay, I digress again. Summer went in house with Candus and brothers to sort out groceries, and then Grandma or Grandis took her groceries back to her camper. And then Summer played on the floor in the kitchen with their toys. And have you guys seen their house? Give me a 1 if you want me to show pictures of their kitchen and their house. They went outdoors then and planted cacti with Candus and Grandis. And then apparently washed their hands, went into Grandis's camper, had a piece of candy. It's, it's specific, it's like specific details. And when she tells it, it does sound like from memory and sounds genuine. It's just that the times are vague, and that bothers me, where we've been able to kind of pin down at least a couple times, and for this whole 3.5 hour period, there's just nobody has any idea of any times, including Grandis, who was with them. Okay, so 1, let's show some pictures of the house. Okay, hang tight, folks. Let's see what we can get here. There was that, but hold on. I think there's. Well, I'll just go ahead and show you this. I'll find it in the video real quick.
I'm using Grammarly since high school. I'm going to tell you guys a bit more about Grammarly. So what the application provides.
Sorry about the ad.
Let's pick it up from where, and I'm going to just use this little one. Is that okay? Okay, so from where, when you got home.
Oh, is that too loud right there?
Okay, your mom's truck's right here.
Mom's
Okay,
truck's
so
there. Okay.
She's leaning against the milk. Is she sleeping? Got it. And then, so is that what they say the dog critters?
Okay, wait. I went too far. Hold on a second. Let me get this full screen.
They're going to attack me? No. Oh,
I was just testing. Teasing. Did you catch that, you guys?
They're going to attack me? No. Oh, I was just
teasing.
The dog's going to attack me.
He says so many he has so many tells. It's funny.
The scaffolding you're talking about. Yeah, that's my. Okay, so she comes up, jumps up, goes right in. Yep. Okay. How many cats? You know what? You should have like a zoo license. Yeah.
There are cats running from everywhere. Like, look under the bed. Woo!
Okay,
Here comes another one. Wait.
Oh, it's in the basement. Got it. Okay. So what happens when she comes in? The boys
They're
are playing
cute.
where?
The boys are actually sitting here.
Okay, so
that
that was the older boy's bedroom. And then this is the kitchen. And if you could see my cursor, here's the table. And then 1, 2, and I think maybe 3 chairs, maybe 4. My dog's dreaming and is scraping her paw on my cat's box that she likes to sleep in. So if you hear a noise, that's what that is. Okay. This they call a bar, and you'll hear her say, well, Donnie calls it a bar, but really it just collects trash. But they have no storage. They have no closets. I don't know if it showed it in the first one. I saw other pictures where there was like stand up little, closets where you could hang clothes. They might just be out of frame here.
Which is good. Okay, where's Summer's bed?
Oh, it's in the basement.
Got it, okay. So what happens when she comes in? The boys are playing where?
No, the boys are actually sitting here.
Okay,
And they're actually sitting right here at the table watching TV.
okay, so they're at the table,
Yeah,
watching TV, okay,
We're all locked in. Nobody can get in. Nobody can get out.
Okay.
We were all locked in. Nobody could get in. Nobody could get out, kind of thing.
now who's this on up here?
Okay, that's
Oh,
her
that's
sister
Rose.
that was
Oh,
kidnapped.
wow. Wow, and who's the guy?
That's her ex-husband.
Wow. Do you think he had anything to do
Oh,
with
it's later that she shows them.
Her eyes glued to the TV. And I said, boys, where are you sitting?
Here we go.
Well, she just went downstairs and on the plate. So I went over here like this. So this is where the stairs are.
Okay.
It's actually
Here's where the stairs are, guys.
Oh, down into her
down in
bedroom.
our bedroom, and then hers is on the other side.
Oh, okay, in the basement.
Yeah, in the basement.
Well, this makes sense now, see?
And then I yelled, I said, Summer, Summer. And she didn't. And I listened for a minute. I didn't hear nothing. So I went like this. Is this how I would be down here?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you
Do I gotta be tiny to get in there?
No, you should
Can we come in from the other side?
Well, we can. It makes more sense if you went this way.
Okay, I'll follow you.
That would be me. I'll just come in through the other side.
Huh?
My husband's 6 foot. I know if he could take
Yes,
that.
her sister was kidnapped, Annie.
Oh my gosh. Way to go.
Disappeared
My husband's
10 years
Okay.
ago. The TV's on.
It's a mess again.
That's all right.
This is Summer's bedroom.
And little Waylon.
And I talked about this earlier, but I wondered, gosh, if an accident were to happen, if she fell down those stairs, or there's a big shelf over here to the right that they have all the toys on and a gaming system. What if that fell over on her? I don't know. Anything's possible. There's a door there. She could have gone out, and then there's this like crawl space right there.
Because Waylon's only 9.
Okay.
And they stay down here.
Here's their
And
beds.
these are all her toys, all her paw patrols, all
All
her.
her movies. She got a movie about the
The
Savior.
boys
No,
don't want
Annie,
that
they
down
never
here
found her
after
sister,
2 months
Rose
because I didn't want 'em upstairs by
Marie
themselves.
Bly, I believe her name is.
And this is all her toys.
These are all her toys. All these toys that are down here are dang near all her, except for like the trucks and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the game system. That's the boys.
Okay.
But them are all her toys.
And she's really into Paw
Oh,
Patrol.
Callie M., that's a great point.
These are all her little ponies that we have bought.
That's a great point.
These are them girls that she likes. Them new fashion off and on. I don't know what to call it.
Here's the
But I
door.
know- it's hard on her. But I know I
It has one of those little knob locks. It also has a deadbolt, but they obviously don't use it.
And usually when she comes out and she goes.
So she does come out, usually when she comes out,
Okay,
is what
so
she
this is
said.
Like her,
Yeah, she
when
just
she
walks
come running
So it's
out.
not
Oh, yeah, you
unusual.
can see the path here.
right this way.
Right, you can see.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the house. I have another one with better pictures, but I don't want to take the time to try to find that right now. So, Summer, okay, they were out at the camper. She got a piece of candy. Yeah, quite a coincidence, huh, Annie? Summer wanted to go inside her house with her brothers. Candus watched her walk in the kitchen and yelled at the boys to watch out for Summer. And then Candus went over to help Grandis with her knee brace. And she said it wasn't any longer than 2 to 5 minutes. She went back to the house and went into the kitchen and was like, "Where's Summer?" And the boys were like, well, she went down in the basement to play with their toys. And so that's when she explains she called for her twice. She didn't answer. She went downstairs. She wasn't down there. In another video, I did show this on my video I recorded earlier today. I'll let you just kind of go back to that. I can put a card in here somewhere about for the first video, or I can put it at the end, but it has to publish first to YouTube before I can do that. So I'll have to do that later. But she states that she blew up when she went downstairs and Summer wasn't there. She was really animated, showed obvious emotion on the way down the stairs. So you guys have to really check that out in that last video. I know that it's long. I apologize for that, but I do think it's worth the time to watch. It makes me think maybe something happened. She saw something when she got down, halfway down the stairs or down the stairs, because as she said it, she was almost all the way down the stairs, but not quite. And she was reliving it. Looked like she was reliving it. So anyway, around 5:30 to 6, since, they couldn't find her, she wasn't down in the basement. The brothers, Candus, all looked for Summer around the house. Candus sent the boys down one of the hills to look to see if they could find her down there. No, but they couldn't find her anywhere. So Candus called her husband, Don, and Don said, well, hang up and call 911. And they ended up both calling 911, it sounds like, around 6:30 p.m. So again, I question, we have no times. I just put that 5:30 to 6, I put that in there. That's why there's question marks there. She never mentions that time. I deduced that from the time that she called 911. But there's absolutely 0 times in this period. And it makes me wonder why, when everything else is so specific, And this 2 to 5 minute window, I don't know. I also, in my last video, shared where, I believe I did, where Hunter said that when she gets drunk and high, she forgets that where the kids are and panics and calls and like saying she lost the kids, and then it turns out they're outside and she finds them. So that's interesting, but it's hard to believe Hunter right now. I'm not saying he's a bad kid or anything like that. I can't imagine being in the middle of something like this at 15 years old. Your mother has some sort of axe to bear against this person who's being, accused possibly of doing something to her own child. Her child is missing. That would be a hard position to be in. Also, he, has been friends with Candus and her family. So I feel bad for him, and, he's in a hard spot. Anyway, after she called 911, Candus says she doesn't mention this anywhere except for in her interview with Chris McDonough. She says she took off in her car looking for Summer all around on the nearby roads, and she stated that she did not want to wait around for the police. She wanted to start looking for Summer right away. But she was back by the time Don got there. Don arrived there just before law enforcement. So Don was working in somewhere, I don't know where, starts with a J, Jonesboro, Jonestown, which is about 40 minutes away. And so she apparently called him probably right around 6:25, and he was home, maybe 7 o'clock or so at the earliest. Or well, unless he sped, maybe 10 till 7. All right, so before I get into this stuff here, I'm going to go to your guys' comments and see what's going on over there. Maybe. This mouse or this pad it drives me nuts sometimes. Okay. I don't know if it was Annie. This is a really busy screen, isn't it? Let me get rid of all that. So I don't know if that was sort of a tick. He does have, and he made a point to put in impulsive ADHD. And I'm sure he's on some sort of amphetamine for that. Perhaps methylphenidate, which is Ritalin, or Adderall, some sort of stimulant. And it could be like a dystonic movement or reaction caused by his medication, which means involuntary movement or action. So it could be that. I tried to listen and see, because we can figure out when he's being truthful after the fact now that we have more information, and when he might be fibbing just a little bit. And I tried to align the yawns with stressful questions and such, and really he yawned even at what should be non-stressful times. I don't know, so I couldn't figure that out. He talked through the yawn, so it's not like he used that as a way to avoid questions. But that's all I can think of, really. And wow, isn't that coincidental? Her sister and Allie, which again, you can't really trust Allie. Maybe, I don't know. It's hard to tell who you can trust. Like, I really was a fan of Allie and thought, oh, she's just such a sweetheart. And I still think she's sweet, but I think maybe some of the information is biased. We all have our biases. So Allie said that one time Candus was up, it was an anniversary of her sister Rose's missing date, and Candus was upset and crying, and Candus apparently, allegedly, said something to the fact of, well, she's dead, or that bitch is dead. Why are you crying? That bitch is dead, or something like that. Now, that's according to Allie. That would be really hateful to make up. I don't know, but there was suspicion that her husband at the time had something to do with it, and I kind of just briefly looked at it, and that sounded reasonable, but from what I saw, but I didn't dive into it, so I don't really have an opinion on it. But yeah, she's been missing for about 10 years, apparently. Yeah, I think it'd be really rare to have it happen twice in the same family. That would be, interesting to say the least. Yes, Cassie, I agree. I was thinking the same thing. Her husband would be on his way home soon, and maybe that's why she went in. and was like, hey, where are you? So, yeah, I too would be able to guess an approximate time unless his hours are just all over the place. But it sounds like he keeps in touch with her throughout the day, because Hunter even said that he called her earlier in the afternoon or late morning. Yeah, definitely. And the more I look at pictures, the more I see. It's almost like looking at clouds and, oh my gosh, I see unicorn. And I mean, it can get I can get a little out of control with it. Callie says, I'm not saying they kept a clean house, but if TBI was in there with the search warrant, that is probably one reason everything is out like that. I'm sure Ellie doesn't put things back 100%, and they go through everything. They go through piles of clothes. They do not skip a beat at all. All right, I think I'm caught up on comments. So let me go back to the timeline. Oops, I probably need to get that off of there, otherwise it'll be blocking. There we go. Okay. So we know for sure, apparently, at 1929, Candus called Allie's friend's phone. This friend's name is Leslie. She works with Allie. Apparently, I don't know if Allie didn't have a phone or what, but Candus called Leslie's phone and asked to speak to Allie. She did speak with Allie, and this was at 7:29 p.m. But before Candus called Allie, she called Hunter, the 15-year-old. So that little squiggly line means like approximately 7:20, and I'm guessing that just based on the timestamp that they have off of Leslie's phone at 7:29. But Candus first called Hunter to tell him Summer was missing. Hunter didn't take it seriously because Candus has called before when she was drunk and high and panicking because she thought she lost the kids when they were just outside. So I had just mentioned that. Sorry for the double. And so then he told her, well, if, look outside. She said, I've been looking outside there. She's not out there. She's nowhere to be found. She's gone. And he said, well, call Allie. And he used the term Allie. So at 7:29, like I said, spoke to Allie. According to Allie, Candus was in the kitchen, pacing around, yawning, and messing with her hat a whole bunch, and stated that she was not talking to the police. And we do know that. She didn't talk to the police for at least a couple days that I know of. Eventually, they put her in the back of a police car and took her down for a lie detector. And she was so distraught and crying, like I would be, that she couldn't even take the lie detector. So that's the first one that she tried to take. But she took a second. So that'll probably be in here. The entries here are just kind of for context, for like psychosocial stuff. I hope I'm not boring you with this. But I think maybe there's some info to be gleaned. So June 15th, we know Summer disappears. The Amber Alert was issued the 16th. Also on the 16th, Candus posted to Facebook the missing poster for Summer. 4 days later, Don changed his profile pic on Facebook and his banner pic. The very next day, Don posted on Facebook about open borders to Mexico. He still has not said anything about his daughter, but he has posted these things, I think. He posted so much, but it seemed like when I saw it, one of the first things he posted was about the open borders to Mexico, which is really strange. Now, I'm not listing every post he's ever posted because, yeah. So 6/24, he posts on Facebook about Summer, something about her. On July 2nd, Allison or Allie gives the interview to Unmasked. And I don't know if you guys saw that, but it's great information. You have to take everything and understand that it's biased. It's coming from a POI or POV. So I said POI. What a Freudian slip. She's not even a POI. The very next day, Candus posted on Facebook, "Depression is bad," and then some song to go with it. July 21st, Hunter gives interview to the interview room with Chris McDonough. And then I think the next day or right around there, the remaining 3 children were taken from the Wells home. Now, in a conversation he had with J is for Justice, Don stated someone told the TBI that he sold Summer for drugs. And he said, quote, "I flipped out, started drinking, and all that kind of stuff. And that's why they took the boys." That's his reason. And I have a video of that if we need to see it. Okay. And I just kind of have my sources here. I didn't want to forget anybody, and I probably did anyway. But the interview room, the video from July 21st. Oh gosh, I have parentheses here, not here. What happened at the swimming hole with Summer Wells the day she disappeared. J is for Justice, the phone interview I mentioned. That was on July 24th. And then Unmasked, the interview I mentioned with Allie. That was July 2nd. Right here. So anyway, I think this is a pretty thorough timeline. It would be nice to be able to fill in some of these. But I think overall, the takeaway for me is that we have a pretty good idea of what they were doing during the day. And then once they got home, things get really vague. Really vague. And I'm not really sure why that is until 6:30ish when they called 911. That's the only time they can remember. So that bothers me. It's hard to say how you would react in trauma. She did say everything seemed like it was in slow motion, but still, I don't know. Let's see. Hi, Anon Anon. Thank you so much for coming. Cassie says, no matter how much they stress Summer was abducted, she's only ever been listed as missing. That is correct. It's not a death investigation. It's not an abduction investigation. Now, interestingly, they talked about geo-tracking. Oh gosh, geo-tracking lost people. I don't know. Yeah. Crowdsourcing app that locates lost persons. It can be used geofencing or geo-tracking. Effective distance for identification between child, object, and a smartphone is 100 meters. Smartphone app runs seamlessly without disrupting any existing functionalities in practice. That might just be something you load. There's something that they're doing. It's geo-tracking, and someone else looked it up, and it had to do with almost like it was a serial killer type event. And so that made me start thinking, okay, well, I don't want to get too, okay, there's squirrels and stuff in here. I'm getting distracted. We'll go through that in a second. Okay. She has two older sisters, or older daughters that were adopted. That's correct. I thought it was a daughter and a son, Candus, and I can't remember his name. I'm so sorry. She is in the big Facebook group and explained her story. Interesting. I don't do Facebook. It depresses me. So did she run away and come back in 2 weeks at Cassie? I don't know what that's in reference to. It was a mix of runaway, but she had her friend with her, found an older man. Wow. Yeah. So that's the timeline. So I think for the next video, what I want to do is, let me show this to you. Oops. I'm really a mess here. Let's get this correct. Okay, so this is the serial murder pathways for investigations from the FBI. And I have a little bit of a profile on Summer, like a victimology, if you will. And then we have these statistics here about victims, offenders, and we can start to build a profile of what could have happened. Is it, they even go into how they know each other or don't know each other. Here's their relationship, strangers, acquaintances, customer, client, unknown, and how they lured them away. 65% of the time was a ruse, 16% or 17% they ambushed them. So I thought it would be interesting to start kind of building a profile of both Summer and also a possible offender. And that could be anybody, in or out of the family, friends, inner circle, outer circle, complete stranger. Could be the guys that were working on the trees and the brush that they were clearing out the day that she went missing, and then the few days prior to that. And in my last video, make sure you go look at that, because I show you where somebody could have easily hidden. And I actually asked Chris McDonough from the interview room personally, was that space large enough for an adult to sit in or kind of lie in wait? And he said, absolutely. 100%, it is large enough for a full-size adult to fit in comfortably. So, and then he, in his video, you'll just have to watch my last video, how he reacted. His respiration went up. It was really interesting to watch him kind of make that realization that something could be really strange. Oh, Anon, I'm so sorry. Ugh, what a pain in the butt. All right, guys. Well, I thank you all for being here and for supporting me. Oh, my dog's going to bark for you, I think. She's growling, the male person. Love you guys. Thanks for coming. And let's watch out soon for the video of profiling Summer, and also profiling a possible assailant. So that's next on the menu. I will see you guys soon, and make sure that you keep your lights on and keep shining bright, and give each other love and give yourself love. Okay, take care.